Hi everybody, welcome to the last episode of the series Toxic People. Today we are talking about toxic love in a toxic, intimate relationship. I'm Rita and today it's all about you. You are in a toxic relationship when moodiness, anger and unhappiness it's the norm in your relationship. Every intimate relationship has ups and downs, which is normal. Both sides have different experience, different feelings and different ways to see the world. And the difficult part is both of you have to find a balance between all these experiences and all the differences. If you feel that you are not feeling very well in your relationship, if you feel that you are not comfortable, if you feel that you are not in peace, if you feel that there are some things that you cannot say openly to your partner, maybe it means that something is not okay. If you feel that all the work, love, compromise that you need to have and do in a relationship comes almost only from you, maybe you are in a toxic relationship. Love doesn't have to be problematic and doesn't have to come with trigger words that you cannot say, because usually these words can lead easily to a fight with your partner. Love doesn't have to be a constant fight with psychological or even physical abuse. Love doesn't have to be passive-aggressive behavior with verbal abuse, with lies, with psychological or emotional drain, and with constant confrontation and stress. When you are in a toxic, intimate relationship, it can be very hard to see the signs of this toxic behavior. And so you can try to analyze it. If you keep underestimating your feelings and if you keep thinking about your own behavior, like I'm overreacting, maybe I'm too sensitive, maybe I'm not in a good phase. Or maybe when you keep making excuse about your partner behavior for other people. Or if you even keep doubting about yourself and keep thinking that okay, this is my fault, I have to change my behavior, I will be better soon. Or if your partner keeps having behaviors of detachment, anger or even violence every time you try to have a normal conversation. No relationship is perfect. Sometimes relationships, particularly intimate ones, can be toxic in a very different levels. They can have lows, but they can even have highs very intensive. And these highs can trick you to think what true intimate relationship should be. But besides all the great love that you can feel about the other person, this great love shouldn't involve shame, guilt or scare, low self-esteem, abuse or even violence. All these experience leads to anxiety, depression and very strong traumatic experiences. Because a toxic relationship can go very, very wrong and go even to emotional abuse, physical violence, and very strong disrespectful behaviors. No one should feel unsafe in any kind of relationship, particularly the intimate ones. In this case, it's very important to have a plan that make you feel safe. Talking about these problems with other people, with a professional, with a counselor, and even looking for some help in some institutions that really help victims of abuse and violence can help you to deal with all these things and giving you a new perspective in a way that you can solve this problem the better way possible. If you are a victim of abuse or even violence in a domestic environment, you should think about not just your safety, but if you have children, you have to think about how these situations are affecting your children and how this unsafe environment can do for your children's future. When these kind of things happen to children, usually they keep in mind that a violent relationship and violent behavior it's normal and it's something that they will do when they will grow up. If your children are exposed of this kind of violence, you as an adult and a responsible person, you are the one that has to make a decision and have to do everything for the well-being of your child. You can call the welfare child. You can seek advice, you can seek counselor, and you can seek all the national lines. Anytime that you feel that you are not safe and that your children are not safe, you have to call authorities and you have to try to understand that this is a behavior that is not have to be tolerated by you and and it's not healthy for your children. In some countries of Europe, if you are married and if you have a child, if you suffer from domestic violence, usually you can reach easily some institutions that can help you, and you have even the right to divorce in a much easier and an expensive and fast way. Of domestic violence victims are women. Men are victims too in a much smaller scale, but we have to understand that the reports usually are not from men. So even men are suffering the same amount and they can be equally victims. In this case, they usually don't report much. 1/3 of female victims of homicide are killed by their partners, and 45% of sexual assaults they happen inside an intimate relationship. Accepting that sometimes love can be toxic and accepting that sometimes a relationship is not good for you and it's not doing the good things that it's supposed to do, it means that it's much easier for you to realize that this is something that happened and is something that can happen to you too. This is not something that you read on the news and that just happens to other people. You don't have to pull up with it. You don't have to constantly feel all these bad things, you have to feel safe, and you have to understand that your children have to be safe all the time. Remember that this is something that happened, and you are not unloved, or that you are not worth it, because it's not true. You're worth more, and you need to have a peace in your mind, and you have to have a conscience that this can be very bad for you and eventually for your children too. So if you feel that there's anything or any sign that you can be in a dangerous intimate relationship, please take the step and the move to just go away from this environment. You have many ways of get out of this relationship, and you have many people that can help you. As I told you before, you can count on authorities, you can try to seek counseling. You have to understand that you have to call for help, and this help will come, and you will feel much more light and less afraid constantly. Remember, the value of love can't be constant pain. Love can give you some work and some things to think about, but not this terror or this pain or this violence. You don't have to deal with this kind of behaviors from nobody. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you like it. I hope you share with a friend. It's very important, particularly in these conversations. It's important that you share, because it's important that if you share this kind of information with other people, maybe you can help someone that is in this situation. Don't be afraid to be involved in certain situations, even if it's not yours. Don't be ashamed, or don't be afraid to be involved in situations that you know that they are toxic for certain people. And I hope you leave a thumbs up, I hope you subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!